Bonjour. So today we are another day in another cafe. We're actually in Shanghai. If you've seen my other video about the French influences in Shanghai, it's actually a city that I've lived in before. Really special city. Today we're gonna dive into a topic about if you could do it all over again, would you? It's kind of philosophical, but it's really been on my mind since I'm back. So I think it's something interesting that we can look at together. If you new to this channel, know that I'm half French, half Asian. I teach French in an easygoing way, and I also teach about French culture, but also Asia is a big part of me as I grew up here, and so I'm very fascinated by French influences within Asia, and especially in a city like Shanghai, which has a former French concession. And so I'm super happy to be able to share these things with you guys. I also share stuff that's been on my mind or my thoughts about certain topics, including today's topic. Super happy how there are like a lot of milk alternatives now in China, which was not the case back then. This cafe actually is like very European style. It's called The Press. It's one of my favorite cafes in Shanghai. It used to be the Shanghai newspaper manufacturing factory, which is really interesting that they renovated everything and made it into a cafe. It's not that common here to be able to promote places such as these, because usually they're replaced by like brand new things without looking too much at the history behind it. So it's a really special place for me, and I really like it. Firstly, why has this question been on my mind? It's been on my mind because it's had me reflecting about my time here. I did my master's here and then I found a job here. Kind of a lot of reflection because I haven't been back in a year and a half. During this time, I had the amazing time to be able to move to Paris, chase my passions, and be able to build this community and build this job that I really love. I can't help but think about la réflexion. La réflexion is reflection, and I think it happens to all of us in different stages of our life, and especially when we move from a place, whether it's a town, a city, or even like a country and a continent, as I did. It's the time pour la réflexion, reflection. And I think I did a lot of growth here. I did a lot of growth here, not only because, I finished my second master's here, but also because it was where I had my first working experiences. And I was able to work into different sectors, which was very interesting. And also, I think I was really able to see how I'm in the work world and career and what sort of hobbies I like. That's where I really began being super interested into videography, into film photography, into photography. But at the time, I didn't know how to combine all of these. I also have nostalgia, la nostalgie, nostalgia. La nostalgie is when we are back in the same place at a different period in our life, and we think about all of the things that we experienced there and all the things that happened there, and we go into the same streets, and it feels like everything's changed, but nothing's changed. If I had to describe my trip this time being here, this is probably what I would say. I would say that everything's changed, yet nothing's changed. Everything's changed, like in my life. Some of my friends that were here are no longer here. This is a very fast-paced, quick-changing city, so a lot of the restaurants and cafes that were originally here are no longer here. Some of my favorite spots. Thankfully, this place is still here. If you ever come, definitely come to this place and think of me. In general, like nothing changed. Like the street names are still the street names. There's still like the main monuments, touristic areas that still exist. My old neighborhood, like the neighbors that I had from a year and a half ago in the compound that I had are still the same people, still living the same jobs, still living the same life. So everything's changed, yet nothing's changed. Tout a changé, néanmoins rien n'a changé. When it comes to la réflexion, la nostalgie, we also have a bit of fear of missing out. I think that was the biggest challenge about like leaving here, is that I thought that I would be missing out on a potential life path that I was no longer taking. And my grandpa, who's no longer here, he always told me that choisir, c'est se priver. So to choose is to private yourself from another choice. So choosing something, you won't be able to choose all the alternatives. but choose the one that corresponds the most to you. And this is really easy to say and difficult to do, even for me, even thinking about it now. It means that we can decide what life path we want, whether that's the people in our lives, that's what we're putting into our mind, what we're seeing, the inspiration around us, and also the place we're in. And I think I reached a point living here where I didn't feel like I was evolving or growing. Like perhaps in my work, I would have had like a comfortable contract and been able to continue. But I feel like as a person, I wasn't really discovering who I really was or the passions that I really had. And this was really difficult. I couldn't really tell what to do. And it was frustrating because I love the city and I love my friends here, which is also a main reason why I came back to visit them. But I didn't see myself evolving and growing. And I think that's why I love being able to transmit something such as teaching a language, is because it's like helping others grow in their own way. Like it's not just letting them have entertainment and seeing nice things, but it's also giving them a skill, giving them knowledge to be able to grow. And I think that's what us, like humans, what us people, we need. We need to be inspired, we need to grow, we need to have others tell us we can do it, because you can do it. I wish many people had told me this, but when you're kind of caught in the like grinding career, coming back, you forget to think about yourself. Il faut pas oublier ce que tu veux vraiment. It's important not to forget what you really want. Ce que tu veux vraiment et qui tu es, and who you are. Donc, il faut pas oublier ce que tu veux ni qui tu es. Don't forget what you want and who you are. To end this little coffee talk in Shanghai with you guys about if I could do it all over again, would I? If you could do everything you've been through in life, would you? I'm sure there are decisions that I would change differently, like that I feel like now made my life a bit harder, aka lockdown in this city. And multiple others, but I wouldn't do it all again because it really makes you who you are now. You wouldn't be the same person, you'd be a different person, perhaps not even a person that is able to think about themselves or give themselves a chance to learn a new skill or learn a new language or give yourselves time to really select who you want and who you want to be. I really encourage you to think about this question without being too hard on yourself. It's not the easiest. The restaurant's getting quite full, so I'm going to end this talk with you guys. But remember that don't be too hard on yourself. If you could do it all over again, would you? It's a complicated question. I think that you should give yourself a break and you should have time to be reflective and be nostalgic without being too hard on yourself. Bon courage with all these thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think about me explaining my thoughts in a more casual, non-scripted way and non-lesson ways. And let me know what you think in the comments. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt et à demain.